And we are live! Hello everybody and welcome to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway here for the Integrity Racing League 2021 season, round 17. Brings us to Hampton, Georgia, Hotlanta for the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jonathan O's here to bring you flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's 130-lap race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. A couple of things to go over before we get started, which is why we're starting this broadcast a little earlier than usual. First thing we're going to go over is the new member bounty in place for the Integrity Racing League. There is a prize for new Integrity Racing League drivers. The requirements being that you have less than 3 Integrity Racing League starts in the 2021 season and have a license that is not rookie and above a 3.0 SR. So if you're interested in trying to make some money through iRacing, through getting some good performances in, and are interested in joining this league, then this could be a great opportunity for you. The top finishing driver that meets that requirements starting next week, actually it's any race with a 30 plus car count, so not tonight because we only have 25 cars on display, but if there were to be over 30 cars, then the top finishing new member would earn $20. And if that top finisher were to win, it would be doubled at $40. So a good opportunity to earn some money through putting in some solid performances. If you'd like to join the Integrity Racing League, you can do so through their Facebook group, which I'm putting in the YouTube chat now. So you can go ahead and join that if you would like to get started in the Integrity Racing League. Next thing to go over, the playoff picture. We are 17 races down, only a couple of races until the playoffs, those being New Hampshire, Darlington, Watkins Glen, Indy, Road Course, Michigan, and then Daytona. And then Richmond and Bristol. So a couple of races left. I didn't realize that we were starting a little later, with the first playoff race being in 10 races time at Las Vegas. So the playoffs are upon these drivers. A couple of them locked in, some of them still needing to point their way in. The top 12 in points going to make the playoffs after those first 27 races. As the warm-up is still underway, gridding will come up next. But at the moment, Kevin P. Matz holds the final playoff spot, 9 points ahead of Jody Banfield, who is the first driver on the cut line. I believe Banfield has shown up tonight. I don't know if Kevin Matz has. I can get you an update on that right now. Or at least I can try to, if my timing and scoring would like to sort things alphabetically. Nope. All right, we're just going to go down the list. I don't see Kevin Matz on the entry list, so he might show up, but I don't see him right now, so it looks like he might be in jeopardy of losing that final playoff spot. Guillermo Alvarez currently in by 35, Thomas in by 45, Todd Thomas that is, and Jay Heischman in by 45 as well. So a couple of drivers on the bubble there, maybe looking to put in some strong performances tonight to either grow that gap or shrink that gap if they are on the outside looking in. Right now, the 4 drivers that are locked into the playoffs are Caitlin Height, Ethan Lane, Tom Wetmore, and Brad Patton. All of those 4 drivers all have a win and are locked in, so they are guaranteed to make the playoffs by the time they roll around in a couple of races' time. But a good performance for Jody Banfield could put him in the playoffs tonight. He has shown up for tonight's event. Michael DeWell, 29 points out of the playoffs, still in with a shot there. Alan Rowell, 52 points out, so a little bit more on the outside looking in, but still more than possible. Eric Crow, I believe, also out by 57 points, so still possible for him to get a good run in tonight and shrink that gap to the playoff cut line. As the field grids up now for gridding, we're going to get ready soon to get this race underway. Right now, it's Dustin Montgomery who will lead the field to green. He did score the pole in qualifying. Alec Daffin going to be starting in second. Brad Patton, P3. Ethan Lane, P4. And Caitlin Height locked into the playoffs, starts in 5th. So we are ready to roll here in a few laps, in 2 pace laps time. A couple of last-minute things to go over here before we get started here at Atlanta. Tom Wetmore has kindly sent me some talking points before the race started. So a fuel run here is going to be around 57 to 60 laps. Stage 1 comes to a close at lap 32. Stage 2 at lap 64. If there are no cautions before that Stage 2 end, then there will be a competition caution thrown. Got a hot and slick track for you here tonight. One of the keys is going to be finding a line that works for you. Atlanta is one of the tracks that got a grip lane update a couple of updates ago. So now that top line a lot more viable and going to be key track position as drivers try and work their way through the field. The one driver who will not have to do a lot of that is Dustin Montgomery, as he will start from the pole. So he'll have clear skies ahead of him, and he will have the easiest job of getting this win. He was in contention for the win 2 weeks ago with Pocono, but hit the wall late in the going. That damaged his car and put him out of contention. So Montgomery could be looking for some redemption tonight. All right, pace car we're going to be in this time by as we get ready to go racing here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Montgomery and Daffin, your top two. Pace car going to take the left turn to pit road. 130 laps ahead of these drivers, just about 200 miles. Pace car is in. We're underway from Atlanta. A good start by Dustin Montgomery to lead the field down to turn one. He's going to be on that inside line. Going to have good track position, 3 wide behind. Alec Daffin in the middle. On the outside of a 3 wide situation. Patton on the bottom. Here comes Ethan Lane through the middle. Everyone going to fan out behind, 2 wide throughout a majority of the field down to turn 3. Lane and Daffin side by side. Daffin going to try that high line. Montgomery to the middle early on. Side by side for second as they come to the line to start lap 2. Montgomery leads lap 1. Lane and Daffin fight for second behind. Brad Patton in the mix as well as they go back to turn 1. Ethan Lane on the bottom compared to Alec Daffin all the way up against the wall. Trying to make that high line work early on, but we have seen really on iRacing that bottom line seems to be better for tires. A little bit of a contact in the back between Nick Tarabuck and another driver. Couldn't quite catch you on the outside line. Down to turn 3, fight for the lead. Daffin going to try and get to the outside of Montgomery as we come to start lap 3. Daffin holds on for now, going to be on the high side to turn 1. That's going to be valuable track position as Montgomery now takes away the top. Ethan Lane all the way to the bottom. Lane was talking about before the race that the line that he was going to run would be that bottom line, as it is a lot better on tires than running the top, but that's going to put him vulnerable on exit to the huge run that high line gets. Here comes Brad Patton to the inside for third. He's going to take it. The rest of the field still fighting quite a bit, but it's Montgomery leading lap 4. He's been leading the early going so far. Battle behind Jacob Fife and Jody Banfield on the outside of the playoffs looking in. Banfield digging on the high side, trying to get around Fife. They're going to go side by side off turn 2. Banfield is going to have the run down the back straightaway, but Fife still holding steady on the inside line. That fight going on behind Caitlin Height. Now Banfield going to have the advantage into turn 3. Here comes Michael Dewell, another driver looking for a strong run behind. So Michael Dewell, one of the drivers who needed a strong run for the playoffs, and currently he is inside the top 10 right now, battling it out with Jacob Fife. Into turn 1. Dewell going to get that spot over Fife as that high line is moving. Up at the front of the field, Brad Patton making a move on the inside line, trying to get the spot away from Montgomery. He's going to slot in front of Alec Daffin and block him just ever so slightly down to turn 3. Everyone kind of looking in the middle right now, but Patton trying to be a little more aggressive on the bottom. That bottom line does work quite a bit in 3 and 4, and here comes Brad Patton to the inside. Montgomery holds on for now, but Patton going to try and make the move to turn 1. Lap 6 underway. Big move to the inside by Patton. Montgomery up top. Patton not all the way on that white line. Not going to go for a slide job too early on, and Montgomery with the run off turn 2. Going to hold on for now. Coming around to start lap 7 next time by. Battle for 8th now starting to heat up as Kyle Vincent Gilbert gets closer to the bumper of Caitlin Height. They're going to be looking to go side by side soon. Height to the bottom, Gilbert up top. A lot of different lanes being ran here in Atlanta. You see Jody Banfield all the way up against that outside wall. As here comes Vincent Gilbert to the high side on Caitlin Height. Almost gets to the wall in the back straightaway, but he's going to get the run. Height slots back in line. I think Caitlin Height's just trying to be a little conservative on her tires and run down low for now, not wanting to risk it all the way up top just yet. But Gilbert wasting no time trying to make that high line work out. He is already running strong on the I tried to get that sentence out on the high side. So he's going to try it again here in 1 and 2. Battle going on in front as well as Gilbert gets the run on Caitlin Height. Now here's Jody Banfield trying to get around Cody Smith for the top 5. Very good run by Banfield so far, getting better and better as these Integrity League races keep moving on. He's shown a lot of improvement since his first start, which I believe was in Texas. Side by side to turn 1. See Banfield's digging up top all the way by the boards, and Cody Smith not wanting to be as risky, trying to park it down low and get it on that white line, trying to Harvick it around this racetrack, if you will. Banfield going to take that 5th spot away now. That battle behind is continuing as Gilbert still tries to get around the outside of Caitlin Height. They've been side by side for the past couple of laps. That might stall them both out and pull Jacob Fife into the picture. Jacob Fife is one of the drivers who is locked in, or all but locked into the playoffs. He has quite a sizable gap and is putting in the performances he needs to extend that gap to the cut line. A win could help him out in that regard, but I don't think it is absolutely necessary. But now we're starting to see the lines change up quite a bit up at the front of the field. Montgomery and Patton moving around the track a little bit, trying to get clean air. On his nose is Brad Patton down to turn 1. You see, they're both running the top in 1 and 2. I think that's going to be the preferred position. But you see Ethan Lane down low trying to make the pass on Alec Daffin on the low side. Is that going to work out? No, it is not. Daffin, too much of a run up top for that to work out for Ethan Lane. Lane trying to side draft as they go to turn 3, but it's not going to work out. Back to the bottom he goes. Daffin still trying to hang on up top, side by side through 3 and 4. Ethan Lane, one of the drivers locked into the playoffs off his win all the way back at Daytona. Or sorry, at the Daytona road course, I should say. And now he is going to take away 3rd from Alec Daffin and keep digging on that low line as Patton tries the low side again to take the lead away from Dustin Montgomery. Oh, we got trouble behind. And that was the 57 of Landon Charlot. Sideways into the middle of the corner, got down into Christopher Schetzler. And that nearly caused calamity off turn 2. That's going to stack up a couple of drivers back here. Charlo not having a good go of it in his first Integrity Racing League start, side by side behind between Alan Rowell and Victor Avila Felix, or sorry, Todd Thomas, with Nick Tarabuck in the mix as well. Charlo up the track. Here comes the 24 of Schetzler on the inside. Charlo into the wall. That's going to stack him up into Christopher Daniel, who has to give him quite a bit of room off turn 2. Side by side looking 3 wide into 3 and 4. Charlo is going to the back. Daniel now going to try and get clear of Todd Thomas off turn 4. Charlo back to the inside. Thomas holding on up top on Daniel. Side by side to turn 1. Daniel going to have track position. He can sail it into the middle and drift up top. I don't think that 78 car, or I guess 6 car of Todd Thomas. Todd, please change your number, man. I got to figure out what is going on. Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on back here. Charlo got in a Rowell, and oh, that's going to cause trouble, and around goes the 28 of Lee Pierce. They're wrecking out of the apron, and that will surely be a caution. We stay green for now. No caution.
All right, man.
And there it is. Yellow flag is out for the 2-car wreck on the back straightaway. And that chaos was bound to spill over at some point. Landon Charlo not having a good go of it early on. He got stacked up into the wall. Looks like he slid off turn 2. But we will have to take a look at a replay to get a fair analysis here. Just got loose in the middle of the racetrack. Might have tagged the 94 of Rowell. He slid down into the 4 of Nick Tarabuck, but I think that's not what caused the incident, really. Felix and Rowell got together, and Charlo got loose, I guess. Yeah, oh. The main part of the wreck was actually caused behind with Victor Avila Felix stacking up down into Lee Pierce. We'll take a look at it again. You can see Felix up top trying to get the run on Rowell, but he's stacked up by the 57 of Charlo. He gets into the 94 of Rowell, bounces near the wall, bounces off the wall, gets into Lee Pierce, sends him to the inside, stacks up in front of the 19 of Brad Fulham. That's what brought out the caution. So a lot of drivers electing to come in, but Dustin Montgomery is staying out. Trying to save a set of tires for the end of the race. Caitlin Height out on track as well. but a majority of the field coming in for what I'm guessing will be 4 tires and fuel. Brad Patton leading the charge down pit road. This might not play off for them later on in the race, depending on how the rest of it goes. They have 3, the tire limit is set at 3. I'm guessing that is 3 additional sets in the pits. Brad Patton going to be the first car off pit road. 15 laps on tires, that's going to do a number on those Goodyears. Apologies, I clicked the wrong thing. But yeah, 15 laps on tires, that's going to do a number on these Goodyears. So I have a feeling that pitting might be the right call. But that might not pay off later on in the race if they only have 3 additional sets of tires. So the cars that stay out will be Dustin Montgomery, Caitlin Height, Guillermo Alvarez, Christopher Schetzler, Christopher Daniel, and Kent Wetherill. Your top 6. Brad Patton, the first driver that came into the pit lane, going to be restarting in P7. This does mean that we will not get the competition caution at the end of Stage 2. And now going to join me in the booth to talk a little bit more about the bounty here in the Integrity Racing League, as a lot of drivers bailing out of that staying out call. As League Admin, Don Stephenson. Don, can you tell me a little bit about the bounty on the new members who decide to join this league, and what that could mean for them if they decide to join?
Sure, Jonathan. Yeah, hello, everybody. Pretty much the whole promotion here has been put on by a couple of our great veterans, Brad Patton and Nick Tarabuck. Pretty much the deal of it is if we happen to get over 30 drivers in a race that show up for a race, they're going to offer $20 to the highest finishing driver that has under 8 starts this season. And if one of those drivers that has under 8 starts for the season happens to win the race, then they'll receive an additional $20, so they could actually make a $40 for one night.
And Don, if someone watching in the chat does want to join this league, how could they do that?
Very simple. You just visit the Integrity Racing Facebook page, or the Integrity Racing League page on iRacing, or you can just shoot me a private message, or any member in the league a private message. We'll get you a league invite, and as long as you pass our league requirements, you'd be able to join and race next week even.
All right, well, Don, thank you for joining me up in the booth. And if you are deciding to join the Integrity Racing League, I've posted the Facebook group in the chat. So if you do decide to join, you can go ahead and join that. And you can go ahead and sign up through there. So thank you, Don. I'm going to go ahead and send you back.
There is just one other thing I wanted to add.
Oh, go ahead.
The promotion is for tonight, but also at the same time, the promotion will keep going until we do get at least 30 drivers. So it could be at any given race.
All right, well, Don, thank you for telling us about the league promotion, and hopefully some of you in the chat decide to join. Now we're getting ready to go back racing here on lap 20 of 130. The top 3 stayed out. Everyone else decided to bail out of that staying out call, namely of which being the 93 of Dustin Montgomery, who gives up his track position for fresh tires and will restart all the way back in 17th. So Caitlin Height on old tires is going to lead the field back to green. Wheel spin might be an issue. We'll see if she is able to cope with it. Pace car is in. We are back green at Atlanta. Not a great restart, but the driver's out on tires. You saw that 24 of Schetzler falling back. Now here comes Patton on the high side, already around the 24 and diving into turn 1, getting around Alvarez. This could be Patton making quick work of the drivers that stayed out here. Looking maybe 3 wide behind. Is that outside line with Ethan Lane going to get a run down the back straightaway? Alvarez to the lead for now. Here comes Ethan Lane up top. Not even going to be a competition for Ethan Lane. Those fresher tires giving him so much more grip, and he is to the point at Atlanta. Jody Banfield now going to follow him through into second. Jacob Fife on the high side coming through as well. Here comes Alec Daff in that third car who has stayed out. Now Brad Patton getting caught up on the inside behind Caitlin Height, one of the drivers on old tires, as Jody Banfield goes side by side with Guillermo Alvarez off turn 2. Now side by side with Daffin and Fife as they go to turn 3. Alvarez falling back, Height falling back. This is not a good short-term strategy for these drivers, but it is going to pay off now that they have one extra set throughout the rest of the race to use. I believe the rest of the drivers are only going to have 2 tires left. 2 sets of tires left. So now Ethan Lane leads over Jody Banfield and Alec Daffin side by side for second as Banfield crosses, or gets crossed over by Daffin down into turn 3. Banfield not going to fight it. Up in a second goes Alec Daffin. Top 5 now under a blanket as we start lap 23 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Ethan Lane still in the lead over Alec Daffin, who I do believe has a win on the season, unless I'm incorrect. I'll go ahead and verify that. He does not. So Daffin's still going for his first win, now going for the lead, side by side into turn 3. To the point goes Alec Daffin. Patton and Banfield side by side for third. Patton squeezes his way through on the inside, nearly made contact with the 98 car of Banfield as Daffin takes the lead over Ethan Lane. Off turn 2 down the back. Daffin up top trying to get the run on Ethan Lane. It's going to shoot him out of a metaphorical can as they go down the back straightaway and towards turn 3. Now here comes Ethan Lane on the on the outside of Brad Patton as Patton takes away second over Lane. And that might be the invitation that Banfield wanted to get around the 26 of Ethan Lane as he's going to be on his bumper down the front straightaway. Lap 25 of 32 in stage 1. Down to turn 1 again. Daffin already parking his number 48 up on the boards. That's going to give him such a great run down the back straightaway, but might hurt his tires a little bit. Down to turn 3, here comes Banfield. Getting passed by Jacob Fife, but Fife backs out of it. Might give the run to Cody Smith from 6th. And keep in mind, a run like this is just what Jody Banfield needs to help his case in making the Integrity Racing League playoffs. Running right now inside the top 5 by a spot, he is doing exactly what he needs to pick up stage points and get himself closer to that playoff bubble. As here comes Dustin Montgomery on Tom Wetmore for 8th. Fife now gets to the inside of Jody Banfield for 4th, but Banfield has the outside to fight back. Now Fife goes back to the inside, but Banfield has enough of a run to keep him clear on the straightaway back to turn 1. And Daffin once again to the boards, just parks it up top, hangs that right rear out on the fence, and lets it rip. That is what's keeping Daffin in the lead. Big battle behind between Todd Thomas and Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Gilbert thought about the inside. Thomas cut him off down to turn 3. Here's Michael Dwell on the outside of Cody Smith. Montgomery on his inside, side by side to lap 28. Dwell cuts him off. Now more drivers starting to migrate to the top. Montgomery's up there, so's Daffin, so's Lane. Side by side for the lead. Patton to the inside, but Daffin holds on up top. Montgomery now to the inside of Dwell, trying to make a comeback from restarting 17th. Daffin on the outside, Patton on the inside. This is the battle for first and the stage win coming to lap 29. Stage ends lap 32. It is crunch time for these drivers. Patton back to the inside. Gonna sail it off into turn number 1. Daffin back to the boards. Banfield behind, running the middle. Fife looking up top as well. Still side by side for the lead. Patton trying to side draft maybe. Not quite close enough to do anything like that. But he's gonna have the track position going into 3. Might just need to try and force Daffin up a little wider on entry to 3. I think that's gonna be his main passing opportunity. For now, they still stay side by side. As Ethan Lane may be looking at a 3-wide move here. Daffin back to the boards in 1 and 2. Not trying to squeeze Patton too far on the bottom. Patton gets him cleared for now as Lane looks to the middle. 3 wide for the lead. Lane backs out of it. That's going to hurt Patton on the inside and give Daffin a big help in a turn 3. and that might give Jody Banfield an invitation to move to the middle lane and try and get to the outside of the 26th of lane. On board with Jody Banfield. 2 to go stage 1, now both the leaders up to the fence, and Ethan Lane now looks low. Patton is trying to match Daffin's run on exit, as Patton and Lane nearly come to blows. Lane is sideways, so is Patton. Down to turn 3, Patton looked back to the inside, but Daffin holds on. Top 5 still under a blanket, coming to lap 32, white flag stage 1. And this will be a big stage for Jody Banfield as well. Finishing 4th going to give him a lot of points, which he needs to try and make the playoffs. Patton sails it in down low. He gets loose off 2, really sideways down the back straightaway. That might be it for Patton. Daffin going to have a big lead to turn 3. Now they're side by side for 3rd, with Ethan Lane on the high side. Patton pushing him up the track. They nearly come to blows. Side by side for 4th in the stage as well. Stage 1 winner Alec Daffin. Banfield holds on to 4th, and that is stage 1 in the books. The battle does continue though. All these drivers still want track position, as Ethan Lane still working the bottom, but more and more drivers are migrating up top as Montgomery gets around the 51 of Wetmore and the 88 of Dewell to move his number 93 Matt Black Chevrolet Camaro up into 7th. Now a lot of drivers starting to mess around with the lines here. Daffin up top in 3 and 4, and up top in 1 and 2, and Lane is harvicking that bottom line. It's what he said he'd do before the race, and it's what he's committed to in the race. Lap 34 underway. Back to the bottom goes Ethan Lane. Nearly contact off turn 2. That might give Patton a run from 3rd. As Jacob Fife looks to make his way down the inside of Jody Banfield in 3 and 4. Banfield digs up top and tries to get his right sides in that upper seam. It's going to work for him off turn 4. He's going to get a big run down the start-finish straight. But I think Jacob Fife just has a tire advantage at this point. Banfield might have gone too hard too early. Still side by side for the lead. Lane back to the bottom trying to get a run on exit. Now Fife up the track might open up the door for Cody Smith. There's a lot going on and not a lot of racetrack, but the main battle, I'd say, right now is for 4th. You can see Banfield just gets a great run on exit. Fife not able to compete with it, and now Fife might be under increased pressure from the 18 of Cody Smith. Down to turn 1, Smith on the inside of Fife. Fife going to get the run off turn 2. That might open up the door for Dustin Montgomery down the back straightaway. Montgomery giving Smith a bit of a bump draft as they go to turn 3. I think right now, if you're Dustin Montgomery, you might not want to race too hard because you've already had to bring your number 93 machine up into the top 10 from restarting 17th. So he might right now just be looking to cool off his tires for a little bit as he might mount a charge later. But now they are nose to tail for the lead. Ethan Lane practically shoving Alec Daffin through 1 and 2, trying to get as much air off his spoiler as he can. Side drafting down the back straightaway. Montgomery now up to the wall after getting squeezed by Cody Smith. Nose to tail to turn 3. These two the class of the field as they come to lap 38. Here comes Ethan Lane to the inside. Side by side to the line. Daffin holds on for now. Ethan Lane on the inside. Powers in a turn 1. And up into the lead for the first time today goes Ethan Lane, going for win number 3 on the season. The Redemption Tour continues for Dustin Montgomery, who has brought his number 93 up into P6 and now will start to hunt down Jacob Fife for 5th place. This right here is some incredible racing. Montgomery made a huge charge from 17th up to 6th. A lot of different lanes at play right now, and it's really fun to watch here at Atlanta. It's why I believe this is one of the best tracks on the sim for racing. And I think we're seeing why here tonight. Couple of cars into the wall off turn 2 as Montgomery makes another charge for the top 5 into turn 3. Look at Montgomery, not quite on the bottom, trying to get a little bit of grip lane on his right side tires. Running through 3 and 4. Montgomery brings his number 93 up into 5th. And is going to complete the pass as they go to turn 1. Fife backs out of it. Up into 5th goes Dustin Montgomery. And more drivers now bringing it up to the outside wall, parking it on the boards, dragging their right rear as close to the outside safer barrier as they can. And look at Tom Wetmore. He was nowhere in the picture a couple of laps ago, and now he's brought his number 51 Tube Tech Toyota Supra up into the top 10 and into P7. Great run by Wetmore so far tonight. And Tom Wetmore, one of the drivers who has won this season, he does not need a good run to bring himself into playoff contention. But Jody Banfield, one of the drivers who does need a good run to bring himself up into playoff contention. And right now, he's running inside the top 5 and 4th and running there convincingly. Update on Kent Wetherill, he was one of the drivers that stayed out. Actually, no, he's just off pace and very slow. But one of the drivers that did stay out is the 00 of Caitlin Height, and right now she finds herself outside the top 15. So back up at the front of the field, Ethan Lane driving away from Alec Daffin on that bottom line. The field continuing to spread out just a little bit, but a lot of different lines still in play here, and Daffin staying committed to the outside, trying to do it in 3 and 4 now. It doesn't work in 3 and 4 quite as well as it does in 1 and 2, but I still applaud his efforts. You got to try something different to run down the leader. He's kept the gap at around 0.3 of a second, and it comes down ever so slightly on the straightaways with the run he gets up top. And now Ethan Lane moves back to the boards. First time he's done that in a while. Wonder if that might hurt him a little bit as Montgomery goes for 4th on Banfield. He's got the pass done now. Dustin Montgomery up into the 4th. Alec Daffin, meanwhile, at the front of the field is starting to run back down Ethan Lane. The gap is coming under 0.3 of a second. He's got the advantage of the slipstream, too. I think Lane found something by moving up top in 1 and 2, but I think Daffin's a little bit more comfortable up there at the moment. Oh, car in the wall, turn 2, it's the 98 of Jody Banfield, and stacks up in front of the 90, in front of the 51 of Tom Wetmore. That's going to cause a scramble down to turn 3, and not what Jody Banfield needed for his strong run tonight. Luckily, the only car damaged in that was the 98 of Banfield, but that's going to hurt him quite a bit. Definitely not what Banfield needed at this stage of the race. But back up to the front of the field, Alec Daffin continuing to keep that gap at around 0.4 of a second to leader Ethan Lane. Just running a bit of a different line than Ethan. It's really cool to see as well, trying to get a little bit of clean air on his nose. Trying something different, it's a lot of fun, and what I like to see about these racetracks. Gap's coming down quite a bit again. I think Ethan Lane made a mistake in 3 and 4. Look at the run by Alec Daffin, all over the bumper of Ethan Lane as they go to 1 and 2. Great corner by Daffin, not a good corner by Lane. He's gonna be vulnerable off turn 2 again. I think Daffin is gonna make a charge of the lead here. Down the back straightaway, Daffin moves over to the left-hand side, up into turn 3. Alec Daffin gonna go for the lead on Lane. Side by side for the lead. Daffin has the run on the start-finish straight. Lap 48 underway, and Daffin has made a charge back to the front. This time they both go high. But like I said, I think Daffin is just a little bit more comfortable up there. I think that Ethan Lane lacks a little bit of confidence to park that right rear against the outside wall. And I think that that's what Alec Daffin has. Down to turn 3, Daffin committed to that outside lane and continues to try and run down your race leader. Dustin Montgomery, meanwhile, proving to be one of the best cars on the long run, fastest car on the track last time by, and now is working on getting around the 1 of Brad Patton. Lane to the bottom, Daffin at the high side. I think Daffin's going to have a mega run here down the back straightaway. to the inside. He's going to use the side draft to try and get in front by the time they get to turn 3. Side by side as they go into the corner. Lane holds on for now. But that bottom side in 3 and 4 just works a lot better than the middle, especially if you're side by side. I think Daffin's not going to be too hurt here down the front straightaway as Montgomery tries to get to the outside of Patton. Side by side to turn 1, the fastest car on the long runs moves himself up into P3. Well, not quite. It's almost a given as they come off turn 2. The momentum advantage going to be too much for Brad Patton to hang on to. And here comes Dustin Montgomery and a lot of traffic in front of the leaders. Slow car of Lee Pierce going to be in the way. That forced both the leaders into the middle line as Weatherall took the bottom. That's going to hurt Daffin. Here comes Montgomery. Weatherall stays out of the way, so does Lee Pierce, but that's going to hurt Ethan Lane. He can't take the bottom like he might like. Now the top 4 all running up against the fence. Rowell in the way as well. There is a lot of traffic in front of these leaders. Oh, 3 wide with the lap cars. Montgomery squeezes on the outside of Pierce and Weatherall. Not an ideal situation for Montgomery to be stuck in. But luckily, Weatherall stays out of the way to turn 1. Montgomery going to be able to continue his charge up towards the top 2 as Daffin has fallen off the bumper of Ethan Lane considerably. I think Weatherall right now has fresher tires than your race leaders. As sliding off turn 2 is the 98 of Jody Banfield. You saw that in the background. And here comes the 88 of Michael DeWell, one of the drivers needing a strong run tonight to get himself up into playoff contention, trying to get around Banfield. Here he comes to the inside, side by side down the start-finish straight. Lap 53 underway, and Michael DeWell is on the charge. DeWell sideways off turn 2, gets loose, has to back out of the move on Banfield, got mega sideways trying to get back on the racing line, and now Montgomery has caught Daffin for second. All over the bumper of the 48, now to the inside through the quad oval, Montgomery is on the move. Looks to the outside, Daffin pulls over, he's going to let him go into turn 1. Montgomery now gets himself back up into second, restarting 17th no matter for the 93, he is up into the top 2. So 4/10 between Dustin Montgomery and race leader Ethan Lane. We saw these two battle it out at Pocono 2 weeks ago. We might see it again tonight here at Atlanta, but of course the situation very different. It's a lot harder to pass here than it was at Pocono with everyone running up against the outside wall. Might take a bold move out of Dustin Montgomery to get around Ethan Lane if he can even get up to him, but still the top 5 separated by under 2 seconds. So one of the most competitive races I've seen in the Integrity Racing League in a while, and we are still only halfway. So now Montgomery has to focus to taking inches and fractions of a second out of Ethan Lane's lead over the next couple of laps here. We're not quite at halfway yet, but it's going to take a very methodical approach for Montgomery to get up there to the leader. We also know that fuel might be an issue. With the fuel run only being around 50 laps, they're going to have to stop around lap 60, lap 70, depending on how long these drivers can stretch it. And that could end up with a fuel mileage race to the finish, depending on how long they can go this time by, as Lane gets that right rear closer to the outside wall, builds up that cushion between his right side and the safer barrier, trying to get every advantage he can at the moment, but it's not working out. Montgomery is still taking time out of Ethan Lane's lead. And the battle for the lead gonna be on in, I'd say, about a lap's time as Montgomery is now in striking distance of leader Ethan Lane. Lap 57 underway, and now is the time that I think Montgomery is going to start looking around a little bit, trying to find some grip on the bottom of the racetrack. Nose to tail through turn 1. Here comes Montgomery. Is he going to move to the left-hand side before they get to turn 3? He looked at it, but decided against it. Now Jacob Fife, one of the other faster cars on the long run, is pressuring Brad Patton for third. Fife to the high side. They're both chasing each other up to the outside wall. It'll be a game of who can go the highest. Now onto the front straightaway. Two battles going on at once here as Montgomery tries the bottom in 1 and 2. Not gonna work. Lane gets the run, or so I think he will. Yes, he does. Three-way battle for third, as here comes Jacob Fife on the bottom, and here comes, that's a lap car of Guillermo Alvarez on fresher tires on the high side. Tom Wetmore up in the mix as well. This does mean that pit stops are kicking off. Now here comes Montgomery, round 2 here at the front. He's gonna look to the inside as they head through the quad oval down to turn 1. Montgomery gets the pass done before they even get to the corner. But now he'll have to slide up in front of Ethan Lane. Lane gonna have a momentum advantage off turn 2. Can he do anything with it, or will Montgomery block? Lane to the inside, gets loose, backs out of it, and Dustin Montgomery is back to the point at Atlanta. And that lap car, Guillermo Alvarez, getting himself up into the picture. And keep in mind, with all the tire fall off here, about 2 whole seconds, that the driver of these top 2 that pits first is going to wind up in the lead of the race. So we'll keep an eye on that situation as it develops, as Tom Wetmore has a go with Jacob Fife for third. Whoa! Here comes Alec Daffin. Fresh tires splits the difference between Tom Wetmore and Jacob Fife. Narrowly escapes a collision, and that's going to hurt Tom Wetmore, and I have a feeling the 51 machine isn't too happy after that. Will any of the top 2 pit this time by? No. Patton, what about him? No. Neither will the 36 of Fife. So I think this is going to cycle Daffin into the lead on older tires once we get around to pit stops. Coming up on halfway in a couple of laps' time, Tom Wetmore still looking to have a go at Jacob Fife. It appears to me that he's got the better car at this stage of the race. But none of these cars on the track right now are feeling very stable. You can see they're wiggling around on the straightaways, not really able to keep it under control. Montgomery stays out, so does Lane. Will Patton and Fife? Yes, they all do. Patton slides up the track through 3 and 4. It's still going to be a 3-car battle as this pack reaches a crescendo coming to lap 63 next time by. Fife to the high side, Patton to the low line. Fife gonna have a mega run here down the back straightaway as Patton gets loose. Here comes Fife looking low. Patton lags out a little bit as they get to turn 3, but holds on. Anyone gonna pit this time by? Montgomery? No. Lane? No. Patton? No. Fife? No. And Wetmore? No. Here they come for third. Side by side off turn 4. Who's gonna have the run? Nobody. But now Wetmore finds a gap to the outside on Fife, and Fife covers it off, now goes forward on the inside as Patton moves up top. They're all going to slide up to the outside. Not enough grip on the bottom to make that work. Fife slides through 1 and 2. A little bit of smoke out of the right rear of the 36, and that lets Tom Wetmore get around him. Any of the leaders pitting? Lane has fallen back about 1.5 seconds, but somehow doesn't appear to have made a mistake. Patton stays out, so does Lane, so does Wetmore, and Cody Smith out of nowhere, with apparently a very good long-run car, is charging after Jacob Fife and Cody Smith. Or after Jacob Fife and Tom Wetmore. He's not charging after himself. Watch for the lap car, Caitlin Height on fresher tires, as here comes the 51 of Wetmore, slides it down the back straightaway, and will clumsily move his way up into third. Smith on the bottom. Fife trying to cut down on him. That puts Smith on the apron. They might be 3 wide to turn 1 here. Wetmore has the inside line. Might be able to set up the 1 car for a slide job, but Patton clears to turn 1. Lap 65, we're halfway. Here comes Caitlin Height through the middle. Splits the difference between the 36 and the 51. Gets her way around this pack of cars. Schetzler looking to do the same. He's boxed in, though. He's not sure where to go. He's going to have to go in between the 51 and the 1 car. It's going to work out for him. Now Patton gets slowed up on the high side of the racetrack. Tom Wetmore going to clear through on the inside. Patton fights back on the high side. Here comes Cody Smith from 5th, and he's going to try and get around Jacob Fife. Leader still staying out. Now Patton going to be on the inside, not going to have the track position he wants to turn 3, and Tom Wetmore going to be able to try and get that pass done. We'll see if anyone calls it quits and brings it to pit road this time by. None of these drivers do. No one in the lead pack does. Lap 68 underway. Well, lap 67, sorry. Patton's falling back as well. Looks like his car's fallen off on the tail end of this run as Jacob Fife's car has not fallen off. Neither is Cody Smith's as he goes to the inside of Tom Wetmore for 2nd. Or 3rd. Side by side, wheel to wheel off turn 4. Smith has enough car advantage to get his way down the inside of Wetmore. May have clipped the grass there through the quad oval down to turn 1. Cody Smith muscles his way through on Tom Wetmore and he is up in a 3rd. But Wetmore going to fight back up top. Smith, is he clear? Not quite. Wetmore fights back. Side by side to turn 3. Are any of the leaders going to come in? It's going to be a no from Montgomery and a no from Ethan Lane. Tom Wetmore still fighting with Smith for 3rd. Now at this point, I believe the field will be able to make it on fuel to the end of the race, which is why I think everyone's been stretching this far. As Tom Wetmore going to be in a dangerous spot here off turn 2. Luckily, Smith able to complete the pass as Wetmore going to fight him back to turn 3. He's going to ride in line. No, he's not. He looked inside, thought better of it, rides behind for now. Here comes Brad Fulham on the pressure tires. Montgomery stays out, so does Ethan Lane. Lap 70 underway, and I do believe that they'll be coming in soon. Now that they will be able to resoundingly make it to the end of the race, at least I think they'll be able to. Caitlin Height, one of the drivers that stayed out of the lap 15 caution, has gotten herself back onto the lead lap as Dustin Montgomery gets passed by that green 00. Ethan Lane sliding all over the racetrack, might be looking to bring it in this time by. And yes, he will. He is the first of the leaders to pull it down pit road for presumably 4 tires and a can of Sunoco fuel. Todd Thomas brings it down pit road as well, looking to undercut some drivers inside the top 5. Daniel brings it in as well, and that is going to set off a wave of pit stops here. And if you're Dustin Montgomery, I feel like you got to react this lap. Now, luckily, he had enough of a gap that he can extend a couple of laps without being in too much danger to being undercut by Ethan Lane. But not if he extends more than 2 laps. I think at that point, Lane's going to have him. Lap 72 underway. Smith stays out, so does Wetmore. So does Daffin. No, Daffin already pitted. Never mind. So I believe Daffin is trying to offset the difference of taking an extra stop in this race by pitting again for tires, but that's not going to work if we get a caution as Wetmore gets hit by, I believe, one of the Fife brothers, or I guess Fife, I think it's actually father and son, one of the Fife family members on the back straightaway. And that got very close between the 51 and the 63 of Jim Fife, who we have not seen in the series for a while, but he has made his return tonight. As Dustin Montgomery stays out for another lap. So does Cody Smith, so does Jacob Fife. Tom Wetmore has called it quits and is bringing it down pit road for presumably 4 tires and a full tank of Sunoco fuel. Back to the leader, and Montgomery has brought it in. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, he locks it up on a pit road! And is that going to be a penalty for the number 93 machine? It's going to be speeding if it's going to be something. We'll see if he has to hold in his box. This could be disaster for Dustin Montgomery. I believe the right sides are going up. I don't think he got speeding, unless he has to hold at the end. No, he's good. He's down and away. Dustin Montgomery safe from speeding on pit road. But that could have been very close indeed. So we'll see who comes out first. Montgomery is down and away. There's Fife going by on the high side. Watch for Ethan Lane. He's ripping the top in 1 and 2. Oh, it's going to be close. Montgomery gets down and away. Ethan Lane rips it down the back straightaway and gets back the lead here at Atlanta. So Ethan Lane to the point, but he's got about 4 lap older tires than Montgomery. Now we have to turn our attention to the drivers who have already made their stop and are at the front of the field. Brad Fulham, one of the drivers looking to take an additional stop in this race, along with Schetzler. Brad Patton, I believe, has just undercut the field. Yes, he has. So Patton is out on an undercut, and so is Alec Daffin. Cody Smith is bringing it to pit road now, so he is looking to overcut all of the drivers who have already pitted, but he did just miss his box, and that is going to ruin his strategy. But what Cody Smith is trying to do is offset the difference of an undercut by having fresher tires at the end of the run. We'll see how it works out for him. But now Patton is going to cycle through to be the leader, and Dustin Montgomery is going to have the task of running down Ethan Lane. But there's a lot of traffic in front of Lane. Ew, yikes, that got close. Fulham was in the way, so was one of the Fife family members. That was the 63 of Jim Fife. That got very close with him and Kent Wetherill as well. But they all made it work, and Montgomery makes it through unscathed, but that did let Ethan Lane extend his advantage just a little bit at the front. Jody Banfield, another driver who has gone for a bit of an undercut on some of the field, but was not able to undercut Montgomery and Lane, as those two are proving to be the class of the field. Oh, trouble, turn 2! Schetzler out of the wall, and is that Ethan Lane? It is! Disaster for Ethan Lane. He's into the wall with one of the drivers who stayed out, and that's heartbreak for the 26 machine. The front end is all torn up, and that could be disaster and the end of the race for Ethan Lane. What has happened in 1 and 2? The number 26 High Performance Motorsports machine finds himself in the wall with Schetzler, sorry. And that could be disaster for the biggest contender that Dustin Montgomery had. What has happened in 1 and 2? Oh my. So take a look at this. Schetzler might have just gotten loose. Oh. It's hard for me to put... it's hard for me to put any blame on Ethan Lane, or on Schetzler for that. Because Lane did not have enough opportunity to take to the high side. And kind of brought that one on himself. Another look at it. I mean, you'll see there's just no room up there. I get it that it was a little late for Lane to change his line, but there just was not enough room to make that work, and I don't know, it's just not a risk he had to take. But one thing that is going to do is bail out all the drivers who had undercut Dustin Montgomery, because now everyone's going to be bringing it to pit road for tires, and a lot of these drivers might be taking their last set of the race. In fact, I believe everybody is taking their last set of the race. Because now all the drivers who... Well, hold on a minute. Everyone who stayed out under the first caution pitted again. That was their second set. If they have 3 additional sets, yes, they have 1 set left. So if another caution comes out, that could potentially hand them the race. But this puts the field on an even playing field, unless your name is Jacob Fife, who stayed out. Okay, then. Actually, I understand the decision. Because Jacob Fife is now only going to have 6 laps on his tires, and is going to have the track position of everyone else and saves the set for the end. Meanwhile, Alec Daffin, who undercut the field, Didn't because of the caution, there wasn't enough time for them to cycle back to the lead. That'll put him in the lead with Guillermo Alvarez and Brad Patton. So now Dustin Montgomery finds himself in 6th with a little bit of work to do before he can put himself back up into the lead of the race. How about we go ahead and bring up Tom Wetmore into the booth for a bit of a mid-race update. He said before the race that I could bring him up if I wanted. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Tom, it's Jonathan Oates up at the TMG broadcast booth. You got us?
I sure do. Jonathan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been enjoying this race so far. A lot of action, a lot of excitement, but I wanted to get the perspective of a driver who's been in the mix throughout a majority of the race. Tom, how's the track looking with some of those updates that came out a couple seasons ago and some of the multi-groove racing we're seeing? How have you been enjoying it so far?
You know, I gotta admit, I'm having a blast running my own race here, so I told my crew chief early on that we were going to be running the Harvick line right around the bottom, and it takes about 15, 16 laps to come in, but then you can saw us, even though we started outside the top 10, that we were picking them off on our way up to 3rd there. Unfortunately, caught ourselves a little bit of damage from another Pro Powder and Paint car coming through the pack, but crew chief got her all fixed up, so we're going to take this Tube Tech Super here, try to run the bottom again, save some tires. We got 50 to go. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and I've seen quite a lot of close calls out there today, and I'm wondering, are some of the low grip conditions of this track maybe contributing to some of the close calls that I've seen and everyone watching at home has seen out on the racetrack?
Absolutely. You know, the Integrity Racing League group, they decided to switch to the B car this year, not because it's the Xfinity car, but because it puts down all that extra power, and it allows you to really have to manhandle it at a hot track like Atlanta this afternoon. It's really, really hot, which means your right rear is burning off, your right front's not giving you any slack, and, well, at the end of the day, it's turning into some really close calls, some really close racing, and gosh, there's 2.5, maybe 3 groups here at Atlanta. We're out here having a blast.
And lastly, Tom, I've seen a lot of strategy throughout the race, some people staying out, some people electing to come in. The question I have for you is, how many sets of tires do you have left in the pits to change if another caution were to come out?
Oh, come on, where's the fun in that? You're going to ask the crew chief about that, but most everyone should be down to just 1 set of tires, but I'll have to ask the crew chief. Maybe he's got an extra set hiding back there for us. But Ethan Lane and I were on a one-stop strategy. Our plan was to use that to succeed, and unfortunately I'm mired back here in 10th, and now Ethan's out of the race, so we'll see if we can't use that extra set of tires to our advantage here later in the race.
All right, well, Tom, I appreciate you joining me up in the booth, and good luck towards the rest of your race. I will talk to you later.
Thanks, Jonathan. Have a great afternoon. Put me back up with Brad if you don't mind.
No problem. That was the wrong... Oh, God, what have I done? Okay, I just messed up who was going where. We're going to go back green at Atlanta. Jacob 5-6 lap old tires at the front of the field. Pace car is in. Green flag, green flag, green flag. And a bad restart by Alec Daffin on the high side. Spun the tires, could not get going, but in the end is able to slot back in line in 2nd. Down towards turn 1 they go. And Jacob Fife, even though he only has 6 lap older tires, oh, trouble! Alvarez gets sideways off turn 2, keeps it in shape. Good save by Alvarez. And he is going to keep it under control and keep it rolling. Meanwhile, for the lead, here comes Alec Daffin on the high side, but Jacob Fife, only 6 lap old tires, is able to hang on to the front of the field for now. Lap 84 underway. Back to turn 1, Daffin goes to the bottom, going to try and get the pass done on the older tired car of Jacob Fife. Daffin down low. Oh no, 3 wide behind Jody Banfield on the bottom. Brad Fulham up into the top 10 for the first time tonight. A lot of track position gained out of some mixed up strategies there, and everyone stacked up in 3 and 4, namely Dwell, who can't find anywhere to go behind the number 4 of Nick Tarabuk. But they all got it sorted out. Now Banfield side by side with Fulham, trying to recover from a mistake earlier on in the race when he got up into the outside wall. Meanwhile, Patton gets around Daffin and will now have the task of getting around Jacob Fife for the lead. Side by side as they go to turn 3. Fife on the high side, Patton on the bottom. Dustin Montgomery waiting in the wings in 3rd. Here they come off turn 4 to the line. It's going to be Jacob Fife leading this lap. I'm going to calm down for a bit. Got to rest my voice a little bit for the end of the race. But Brad Patton still trying to make that low line work on Jacob Fife. Fife falls back up top, and that is going to be Brad Patton sliding up into the race lead. Side by side behind as well. One car sideways out to the 63 of Jim Fife off turn 2. Montgomery from third. Trying to make something happen with these leaders here. Jacob Fife now back to second, trying to run down Brad Patton. Here comes Dustin Montgomery to the inside. Side by side looking for fourth, but they ended up going back single file as Caitlin Height finds her way up into the top 6 for the first time tonight. Winner of the Atlanta race all the way back in the spring, looking to do it again here in the summer, but unlike in the spring, she now has Dustin Montgomery to contend with. Lap 88 of 130 underway, and Montgomery is trying to go for second on Jacob Fife. Montgomery going to have the run here down the back straightaway. We'll see if he moves over to the inside line as they go to turn 3. He is going to stay in line for now. Jacob Fife holds on for the moment. As look at Brad Patton all the way up by the wall, trying to make that third lane work in 3 and 4. Crossover move by Dustin Montgomery to get to the inside of Jacob Fife. Gets him side by side to turn 1. We'll see if Montgomery is going to make the pass. He sails it in the middle, and that's going to put him up in a P2. Here comes Daffin now trying to make a move for third on Jacob Fife. Fife moves over to the left-hand side a little bit, maybe trying to get inside the mind there of the 48 of Daffin, not trying to give him too much room to turn 3. Daffin on the inside, going to pull through. Side by side for third. Daffin drives that 48 car down to the bottom and tries to get clear of Fife on exit, but Fife just has too much of a run up top for it to work. Side by side again to turn 3. Daffin going for the bottom, and we have a caution on the track. There is trouble, and it's Christopher Schetzler slow off turn 4. Daniel as well. The 79 of Christopher Daniel and Christopher Schetzler both involved. Caution is out. Well, this is going to make things a little bit interesting because now we'll have to see if Brad Patton from the lead decides to pit for tires. Might be a little early on in the run, but if we go green to the end, that 10-lap tire advantage could give you a big, big help towards the end of the race. Well, we'll report back once those drivers come down pit road. For now, let's take a look at what happened between the two Christophers to bring out our third caution of the night. By that point, it had already happened. And, oh, no. It's like Schetzler just got loose in the middle of 3 and 4. And Daniel, nowhere to go, plows into the 24, spins it out on the apron, and brings out our third caution of the night. Well, here we go. Patton comes in and stays out. So it's a very, very split decision indeed. But Dustin Montgomery leads the charge onto pit road with the popular decision appearing to be completely even. I am seeing more cars on pit road than off it. So it does look like pitting is going to be the popular call here. It'll give him an advantage, but for how long? Montgomery's in for 4 tires and fuel. And since he had an advantage coming onto pit road, he will likely win the race off. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I will be right back to bring you the finish of this race. It's actually Nick Tarabuck wins the race off pit road. Not sure what that's about, but he might have only taken right sides. I'll be right back. And after a nice drink of water, we are back live here on the TMG Racing Network for the call to the finish here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Nick Tarabuck decided to come into pit, came off first, so I do believe he might have only taken right side tires. We'll have to see how that strategy call works out for him. Meanwhile, the top 5 all elected to stay out on track, with a couple of drivers who stayed out initially backing off their decision and bringing it in the end. Alright, we're gonna have just under 30 laps to go here before we go back green. Your top 5 are Patton, Daffin, Alvarez, Banfield, and Todd Thomas. So an interesting gamble by some drivers that need some strong runs to try and make the playoffs, such as Jody Banfield, who came into this race 9 points out. Had a very strong run going early on, got in the wall, and set him back a little bit. Now finds himself up in the top 5 and contending for a potential run at the playoffs. Alec Daffin is currently in the playoffs by 138 points, so that cushion might make him feel a little bit more secure to try a gamble like staying out, and in the end, might work out for him if we catch a caution about 10 laps into this run, but any later than that, it might be too late for the field. So we'll see. Nice paint scheme on Jody Banfield's car as well. I believe that is courtesy of Cosmo Ioneshu over at Splash and Go Graphics, but I can't be sure on that. I feel like I remember him posting something about that. Either way, it looks very nice. And we'll be lining up in 4th. So Brad Patton going to lead the field back to green. He is one of the drivers with multiple wins on the season. Actually, no, only 1 win on the season. My mistake. So he will lead the field back green here. However, that is on 15-lap-old tires, and these cars can be quite tricky to get restarted even on fresh tires at a low-grip surface like Atlanta. So I have a feeling that Brad Patton might have a little bit of trouble getting going here, but as long as it's not too bad, it shouldn't pose too much of a threat to the field. Just over 30 to go as we go back green this time by. Alright, pace car going to be in this lap. And we're ready to go back green at Atlanta. Pace car is in. We are green, green, green flag racing once again at Atlanta. And a decent getaway by the top 3, but the rest of the field struggling a little bit on the power. That's going to blow the door wide open for the drivers that took tires under the last stop to try and make a move. 3 wide in the back. Here comes the 36 of Fife digging up top. A little bit like mini Daytona back there as they work their way into turn 3 and 4. Here comes Dustin Montgomery trying to be a hero on new tires on the bottom, but Jacob Fife, one of the drivers who pitted as well, rockets on the high side to the outside of Jody Banfield. Everyone's still fanning out side by side for second. Guillermo Alvarez and Alec Daffin going at it for P2. Now here comes Jacob Fife, 15-lap fresher rubber, 4 wide in the back of the pack as they get through turn 1 and 2. It's getting very dicey indeed. 3 wide for second. Here comes Jacob Fife powering through on the inside, wasting no time trying to get to the front. The Pro Powder and Paints number 36 is on a tear. He should have him here in 1 and 2. Alec Daffin trying to give him a bit of a shove going into turn 1, but Jacob Fife on the move since the start of this restart. He is moving into turn 1 and 2. He is hauling right now. Side by side to the lead. Give it to Jacob Fife as we got trouble. Patton around. He gets into Montgomery. Crash back straightaway. And that should trigger the 4th caution.
All right, man. Caution is out.
There it is. And a wreck off turn 2 after Patton got a little too eager on the throttle. Sends him around in front of the field. Caution is out for the 4th time tonight. All right. Let's take a look at it. This might be a little too early for the drivers who decided to not take tires to come in now. At the same time, I guess you never know. Here we go. So you'll see it here in 1 and 2. I think Patton just got a little bit too eager on the loud pedal, trying to stay in front of Jacob Fife. And you'll see it on corner exit. He just tagged the wall. Did he get into Montgomery, though? Definitely did. Ooh, and that bent up the front end of the 93 quite a bit. That might hurt him as we go back green here. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to point blame on Brad Patton for that, but at the same time, when you're on old tires, I mean, it can be quite hard to hang on, especially when you got fresh tires breathing down your neck like that. I can't put too much fault on him for what he did. At the same time, though, this is going to take out the dominant car of the race in Dustin Montgomery, because he was looking like a shoo-in to at least take a top 5, and now he's got all that damage to the front end. It's going to be hard for him to rebound from this. You see it right there. Patton tags the wall. You see the sparks flying out from the left, from the right rear quarter panel of the 1 car. Slides it down in front of Montgomery, and there's the hit, sending Brad Patton around and into the inside wall. Pow. Did nearly slide back up into traffic at the end of the wreck. Luckily, he did keep it out of harm's way. Let's go on board with Dustin Montgomery as he attempted to navigate his way through the wreck. Back it up one more time here. Oh, yeah, he just had nowhere to go. So very unfortunate for the drivers that did get collected in that. Luckily, it was minimal damage. At least in terms of cars collected. I'm sure Dustin Montgomery won't be all too happy with it, though. With that front end damage, he is likely also experiencing a loss of RPM. All right, 30 to go this time by, and I have a feeling that that staying out strategy that we saw under the last caution is slowly and slowly getting worse. Because the longer that these drivers are out on, the longer that we are under caution, the less time that we have to get a caution later in the run. And if we get a caution with like 10 to go, I mean, that's just not enough time to get around that many cars. If we go maybe 15 laps into this run, maybe there's a chance for the drivers that didn't take tires to come on in and get some new tires suited and try and take advantage of their fresher tires, but it just might be a little too late. All right, doubling up this time by. We are ready to go back green here from Atlanta. It's been an incredible race so far. A lot of drama, a lot of action, and a lot of really, really good racing. I really do love this track, so I hope that we can keep coming here on iRacing to the Legacy version even after the repay, because something about this place is just a little special. All right, back green this time by. Under 30 to go. We are getting down to crunch time here in the Integrity Racing League. A lot of drivers looking for their first win of the season, including Jacob Fife, who's been close a couple of times, but never really been in that position to win. Here we go. Pace car is in. The green flag is back out. We're back racing from Atlanta. Already a lot of the field getting single file as they get down to turn 1. Alec Dappin, one of the drivers out on old tires, 3 wide behind with the 78 of Todd Thomas stuck in the middle. Now here comes that outside driver of the 94 of Alan Rowell. Gets in the wall on the back straightaway. That's going to stack up the outside a little bit. Rowell gets the run, though, on the high side. He is going to clear Thomas this time by. Now Tom Wetmore in a bit of a gaggle here with Kyle Vincent Gilbert battling it out for P7 on track. Good drive by Wetmore to get around Gilbert. He is one of the drivers that did pit last time by and will set his sights on getting around Jody Banfield. It's pandemonium throughout the field as everyone tries to get back going. Trouble. Michael DeWell sideways off turn 2, but keeps it going. Now the top two, Caitlin Height and Jacob Fife, both drivers that that pitted under the most recent caution, so they are both on equal tires. Now Guillermo Alvarez, one of the drivers that stayed out, fighting with Cody Smith, who pitted, but I believe Smith is going to have the advantage as they go into turn 1. Now here's Tom Wetmore pulling a slide job on Jody Banfield to bring his number 51 Tube Tech Machine up into the top 6. Down the back, headed for 3, Cody Smith putting a lot of pressure on Alec Daffin, who's done a great job holding on to those older tires so far. Meanwhile, Vincent Gilbert looks to the high side to try and get around Banfield, but he is getting all kinds of hung up behind that number 98 machine, who is on older tires. 25 to go from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Gilbert very sideways off turn 2, but is finally going to get that pass done on Jody Banfield. Tom Wetmore, meanwhile, has found his way up into the top 5, and now going to set his sights on Alec Daffin for 4th. Big send into turn 1 by Wetmore. It's a bold move going all the way down to the bottom, but it's the line he said he wanted to take. It's the line he is going to take, and it's the line that'll bring him up into the top 4. Barely clear of Daffin on exit, but he got it done. Side by side behind, here comes Vincent Gilbert, who at one point was all the way back in the, towards the outside of the top 10, has now rebounded to up to 8th, and is trying to get around Alan Rowell. Rowell, one of the drivers that also pitted, so it'll come down to skill between those two. And Dustin Montgomery, with a beat-up front end and engine damage as Gilbert gets in the wall, has found himself up into the top 5. So great recovery by Dustin Montgomery, trying to salvage something out of this race. It looked like he had it won. It fortune turned on a knife edge, and now he is still trying to salvage something out of it. Great drive by Dustin Montgomery, who finds himself inside the top 5. And you can see the rubber being laid down through turns 1 and 2 especially, really wide, a lot of room to maneuver here at Atlanta. A lot of different lanes that these drivers can choose from, but it appears the popular one at the moment is to ride it on the bottom. You don't want to risk your tires just yet. 21 to go. Jody Banfield, one of the drivers that stayed out that last caution, currently running inside the 10th position, trying to pick up some points to try and get himself closer to the Integrity Racing League playoffs, doing a great job of it so far. Also one of the contenders for the Rookie of the Year award, and he's done a great job to, I believe, hold on to the lead of that standings. I can get you an official update on it right now. Right now, it's between Banfield and Daffin. So I did lie. Alec Daffin right now holds the Rookie of the Year lead, and he has also put on an incredible performance tonight as they are looking to go 3 wide off turn 2, as there goes Vincent Gilbert down the inside of Alan Rowell to turn 3. Gilbert gets the spot. 20 to go, 19 to go at the line. And it's Height trying to chase down Jacob Fife. Caitlin Height won the Atlanta race back in the spring and has the opportunity to pick up her 5th win on the season. Everyone now starting to move up to the top. We got trouble! Spinning off the back straightaway is the 79 of Christopher Daniel. He has spun out all the way, and that's going to bring out a caution. And this could change everything. And now we gotta consider, the drivers that stayed out for tires last time by now have that additional set. Could they bring it down pit road this time by? And will they have enough time to make the advantage last? This might have just changed everything as Christopher Daniel goes for a spin down the back straightaway. Let's take a look at a replay. Oh, hard hit for the 79. We gotta take a look at how it started here. I saw it already as some of the leaders were entering turn 3. Everyone was just getting too stacked up back here. And I was worried it was going to go a little too far, and it did. Looks like he got sideways off turn 2 and tried to keep it out of Jody Banfield and inadvertently turned down into the 88 of Dwell and slammed into the inside wall. Turn 2 appears to be a bit of a trouble zone on this racetrack. And we have seen it yet again. Take an aerial view at it here. And zoom it in. But I think you're going to see it as Christopher Daniel just gets a little tight off turn 2. And in trying to keep it off of Jody Banfield, gets out of the gas, gets more steering lock into it, but ends up getting tagged by the 88 of Michael Dwell. It goes for a spin to the inside wall. But really, I just call that one a racing deal. I don't think anyone could really do anything about that. It's just what happens when you don't have a lot of grip in the track. And when you have these relatively high power and low downforce cars on display. It makes for some great racing, but can also make for some dangerous situations on track. Luckily, though, we are on the sim. We don't really have to worry about safety too much. We can pretty much do whatever we want because, well, you can't hurt a virtual driver. And, oh, this is new. So it appears that everyone else might have had an additional set of tires to come down pit road and take. Oh, well, that's interesting, because I figured they didn't. I know Jacob Fife might have, but I didn't think Caitlin Height would. Although, no, this actually makes sense, because Caitlin Height was amongst the drivers that didn't pit during the first caution. So a lot of drivers are going to have tires here to use at the end of the race. But a lot of the drivers at the front are not. So Tom Wetmore has to stay out on 22-lap-old tires while everyone else was able to pit. And somehow Todd Thomas is being scored the leader. That's new. Why is he being scored the leader? Did he... What? Oh. Okay. Well, why don't we... I think he's dropping back now. But why don't we go ahead and bring Tom up into the booth? Because this has turned into a very interesting situation. Tom, Jonathan Oates, TMG broadcast booth. You found yourself in a bit of an interesting situation here with about 15 laps to go here. You stayed out, 22-lap-old tires. Did you just not have anything left in the pits?
Well, that extra set that my crew chief might have told me we had in the pits. Well, we sold them to charity, and they're just not there anymore. So, unfortunately, we get limited to a couple sets of tires here in Integrity Racing League, and we used ours up early thinking it would go green to the end. So, we're going to hang out here on some old scuffs and see what we can do to try to hold these guys off, but not too optimistic here.
All right, well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is that we've seen turn 2 be quite a trouble spot tonight with a lot of drivers kind of sliding out of the groove. Is there something about that end of the racetrack in particular that makes it a lot more treacherous than 3 and 4?
Well, I mean, turn 2 is interesting because all the banking all on lines there at the end. On these old tires, whether you're on the bottom, the middle, or close to the top, everyone seems to wash out to the top there. So I'm going to take the high side here on this restart. Hope that I can get Fife to maybe wash up here. But, gosh, like I said, I'm not too optimistic here on these restarts with these old scuffs. So we're going to try to run the wall, see what we can do.
All right, well, Tom, I'm going to leave you to it. Good luck holding on to those old tires. I'm going to go ahead and send you back.
Thanks.
That was Tom Wetmore, voice of the driver, the number 51 machine, who is currently out on 22-lap-old tires. Unbeknownst to me, the rest of the field actually had an additional set, so staying out under the last caution appeared not to have worked. We are going to go back green, this time by after the 5th caution of the night. It is Wetmore, Fife, Height, and Montgomery, your top 4, and Dustin Montgomery, give a call to him. Despite that front end damage, he has found himself inside the top 4 and has a shot at getting a very, very strong run tonight. Wetmore on pole, or on the, Wetmore as the leader on the outside line. 23 lap old tires. He's down and away. Slides the rears a little bit, but he gets it going. Green flag is back out. Very good jump by Wetmore, 3 wide behind. Here comes Daffin on the bottom, but now we see how badly those old tires are going to hurt him. Fife to the bottom, gets cut off by Tom Wetmore. Oh, trouble behind. Vincent Gilbert goes around hard to the inside wall. Caution is out.
Caution is out.
Turn 2 again proves to be a trouble spot, and this time it's the 58 taking the worst end of it. We'll take a look at a replay. And it looks like... might have just... yeah, I mean, Tom talked about it. As that banking unwinds, it really unsettles these cars, and looks like he just got a little too loose. And that sent him hard into the inside wall. Picked that whole car off the ground. Yikes. On board with the 58 machine. And yeah, you can see he started to have to make those corrections, and it just stepped out on him at the end. Unfortunate, but there isn't too much he can do about that. That's going to put us under our 6th caution of the night, and will set us up for a late race restart with just about 10 to go. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I will be right back. Back live on the TMG Racing Network. We are getting ready to restart this race. I have a feeling we're going to take 1 to green this time by. We'll see if Wetmore elects to take the bottom or the top. The sun has come out here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Going to take those track temps and send them sky high as we set up for a very interesting late race restart. Looks like we are still on 2 to green, so we'll restart with just about 9 laps to go here. The main things to look out for, I mean, we've seen it all day. That turn 2 just constantly a trouble spot for these drivers, especially as the banking unwinds. And I have a feeling that it might play a factor in determining a winner of this race. It hasn't been the cleanest one so far, but I think it's been more than entertaining with a lot of good racing throughout the field. But that turn 2 always seems to rear its ugly head at the worst possible moments. Really stacks up a lot of drivers both into each other and into the wall. So we'll see how that plays out on this late race restart. A lot of these tires starting to get worn. Even the drivers that came down for fresh tires, those tires aren't quite as clean and crisp as they were directly after they pulled out of the pits. So take your picks now, folks, because I have a feeling after this, things are going to get a little bit wild. You won't want to miss the ending of this race. Tom Wetmore, what is, I don't know what he's doing. Taking the top. Okay. Well, Tom, buddy, what are you doing, Tom? Tom, what are you doing? Tom, what are you doing? Tom, what are you doing? All right, he's taking the bottom. Okay, I'm not sure if he could decide what he wanted to do, but he, in the end, decided to take the bottom. Caitlin Height, third car in line here. Gonna go on board with her for this restart. Should be a fun one. Gonna try something really quick. We're gonna make a makeshift visor cam live on TMG. We're gonna go over here, point it to the middle, zoom it out. There we go. And this will be our view for the restart. You can hear Caitlin right there getting into her preferred restart gear. Getting geared up for the action that is about to take place. 9 to go here on TMG at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The grip is low, the tension is high. Pace car is in. I mistimed that a little bit. Pace car is in, and Tom Wetmore is down and away. We're back green from Atlanta. And not the restart that Wetmore needed. Down to turn 1. He's going to try and hold off Fife, but Fife going to have the high line. Gets to the right rear quarter panel of Wetmore. Wetmore up the track. Fife with the run. Going to try and clear down the back straightaway. Here comes Caitlin Height in tow. Now Daffin to the bottom, trying to take him 3 wide for the lead. Wetmore trying to squeeze to the inside. Daffin onto the bottom, almost onto the apron. Height forced 3 wide up top with a mega move to the outside. What a move by Caitlin Height. 8 laps to go. It's Fife in control. Height gonna have the advantage both through the tri-oval and now at a turn 1. Wetmore blocking Alvarez all the way onto the apron. Sliding up the track is Wetmore. He might tag the wall here. 4 wide behind. Everyone stacking up on top of everybody. Gilbert in the wall in the back of the pack. Never mind, not gonna matter. 7 to go as they get to the line. It's Alvarez up to 4th. Fife in the lead. Trouble. Wetmore gets turned. They're wrecking. Big trouble. 3 and 4. Caution is out again. Jim Fife involved. Tom Wetmore involved. No caution yet, but I think we're going to get it soon.
All right, man.
There it is.
Caution is out.
And Tom Wetmore, old tires did not work out, gets turned in front of the pack, and the 7th caution of the night is out. Blown engine for the 51. Take it to the garage. His night is over. Oh my, this has been awesome. I mean, it started off completely insane with all the racing we were seeing. Everyone stacked on top of everybody, low grip, slipping and sliding, and now the tension is high. Everyone's trying to get everything they can get on these late race restarts, and it's been complete pandemonium, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened to Tom here in 3 and 4. It just wasn't going well. I mean, you can see everyone was stacked up behind him, and I think Banfield might have tried to dive it in here. Might have just had a little bit of overspeed on Wetmore and just tagged him in the left rear quarter. Around he went, and separate of that incident, the 93 of Montgomery gets sent around. And Jim Fife, with nowhere to go, plows into the 51. It's really just an unfortunate situation all around. I don't think anyone could have done much anything different except for maybe Jody Banfield, but it's hard to anticipate the speed difference there in on those new tires. I mean, it's just not something that you have to do really all that often, and that is what sends the 51 machine around. And completely separate of that, Dustin Montgomery gets sent around off the bumper of Alan Rowell. Take a look at this. I mean, 3 into 2 lanes, it was never going to work out, and that's what sent the 93 around with maybe a little bit of netcode there. And then Cody Smith tries to avoid Wetmore and plows right into him, and that sends the 51 into the wall, and that, in the end, is what took out the 63 in addition. But unfortunately, just one of those racing deals. I think it's easy to say that Banfield should have lifted a little bit more, but in the end, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to anticipate the speed difference that you're going to have, and I think maybe Wetmore could have given him a little bit more room, and Jody probably could have lifted a little bit more. And Montgomery definitely didn't do himself any favors by squeezing so far down out of the 94, but you see that, you see how the right side gets popped up there. That's what we like to call aero push, and by aero push, I mean netcode. That, in the end, takes out the 93 of Montgomery and the 51 of Tom Wetmore. Bringing out our 7th caution of the night. And will set us up for a final restart with, I believe, under 4 laps to go. In fact, I think it might even be a natural green-white checkered. It's going to be a showdown as well between the winningest driver in the season and the driver who is yet to break through for their first win, between Fife and Height. And don't count out Alec Daffin. If something happens to the top 2, it's more than possible on the slow grip racetrack.
Hello.
Oh, Robert Dorman has joined us in the booth.
Oh my god, you're still broadcasting?
Yes, we are setting up for a natural green-white checkered with 2 to go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you
It's
want me
fine.
to leave?
You want to join in?
Sure.
Here,
I mean, do I have time
I'll-
to get in the session?
Probably not, but I can screen share for you.
Damn. I'll pull up the broadcast.
Well, that's going to be like 10 seconds behind.
Okay.
Here.
How's the race been?
It's been very good. A lot of chaos, a lot of really good racing, and we've had a couple of late race cautions here with a couple of different tire strategies, which have set us up for a 2-lap-to-go restart. Jacob Fife looking for his first win on the season. Caitlin Height looking
Nice.
for her 5th. Guillermo Alvarez looking for his first as well. Everybody in the top 5 has taken tires at the latest available opportunity. In fact, I believe everybody is on the same tires except for Christopher Schetzler, who has 8-lap-old tires compared to everyone else 14-lap-old tires. So, Dorman, how do you think this last restart here is going to play out with only 2 to go?
I missed a little bit of that. You kind of lagged. What are the tires looking like?
Everyone is on the same tires.
How old are said tires?
14 laps.
Okay. It's probably going to go down between somebody on the first 2 rows.
I think that's
If everyone's on the same set of tires, I think everyone's going to be about equal. I think it's going to be a great race, though.
Well, we're about to find out. Pace car is in. Jacob Fife is off. We are back green at Atlanta. Not a good start by Caitlin Height. Here comes Daffin from 3rd. Down to turn 1. It's only 2 to go. Alec Daffin's got to get a move on if he's going to try and make a move for the win. Side by side into turn 1. Daffin gets the jump on Caitlin Height, but Height going to have that middle line. Is she going to prevail off 2? Side by side, and the caution is out already. Trouble turn 1.
How's Wetmore doing?
He got wrecked out very recently.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, it definitely does for him, but we've just had another caution on track just after the restart. Height, luckily, able to keep her 2nd place spot and is going to be able to get another chance at the restart there. Let's take a look at what happened to bring out this caution. Oh, no, that was not good. Okay, that was a little too recent. Let's back it up another 20 seconds. I'm pretty far in the back as well.
Was this on the initial restart?
Yeah, it was.
Let's see, the 98.
Oh!
What happened to him?
You know what? That's a good question. Looks like Cody Smith got sent to the grass by Jim Fife. They all stacked up about 3 wide, and then Banfield got turned by Kyle Vincent Gilbert. And that sent him... Yeah.
What was that? The 54 car? Tried to miss that car on the inside and just clipped the 98. Looks like.
Yeah, definitely looks like it to me. Chopper Cam might be able to give us a bit of a perspective here. Looks like Jim Fife gets on the gas, spins the tires. Whoa, quite a bit. Quite a bit. Slams, doesn't really get into the 18. There wasn't any contact.
Got him enough to freak him out.
And Banfield trying to be aggressive and split the middle. Gets turned by the 58, down into the 18, and that turns him back up the track and right on the path of Christopher Daniel. Nowhere for him to go. Well, I guess that'll set us up for another green-white checker, this time in overtime. I believe we have 3 attempts, or it's either 3 or unlimited, but since it's Atlanta, I don't think we will need all 3. So right now, the top three looking like Jacob Fife, Caitlin Height, and Alec Daffin, with Alvarez sitting in 4th and Todd Thomas P5. Thomas, one of the drivers we haven't really talked about all season, hasn't really put himself in a position to win a lot of these races, but he's currently sitting very well. He's going to restart inside on the 3rd row, so definitely a good position for Thomas to be in. Alvarez P4, Daffin P3, another driver who hasn't won yet this season, but has gotten close a fair couple of times. So good opportunity for someone to take away a win here. Maybe
Ethan Lane in this race?
He was. He also got wrecked out.
Yikes.
Well, he kind of wrecked himself out.
Ah, all right. How many starters?
We had 26 cars, or 24 cars take the green.
Nice. All right.
Still under caution at the moment. I believe we are not on 1 to green yet, so I'm going to step away for just a little bit, and we'll be right back. Back live here on the TMG Racing Network. Robert Dorman has left the booth, but it was nice to have him here for a couple of laps. Hopefully we're going to get 1 to green this time by, and we can settle this race. It's going to be Jacob Fife, Caitlin Height, and Alec Daffin, your top 3. Watch for Daffin on this restart. He is sitting in a very good position to try and take away this win. Another thing you got to consider with the amount of off-throttle time at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, a bump and run could be more than viable here to try and take away the win, particularly down in 1 and 2 if you want to try and get someone up into the outside wall if they're running it. So it's possible. We'll have to see how it plays out, though. I think people are going to really get their elbows out and trying to take away this win. Pretty thinned out field at this point with the amount of crashes that we've had. It's been a bit of a race of attrition, but in the end, the best drivers in the league are still going to duke it out for a win here. 2 to go. It'll be a green-white checkered overtime attempt number 1. Here we go. Oh, and he's already gone. Green flag back in the air. A great restart by Alec Daffin. He's able to stay somewhat close to Jacob Fife. Fife not able to really get the jump that he needed. We're back underway here at Atlanta. Height digging up top through 1 and 2. Didn't get the restart she needed to be in contention, but now is going to rocket off the high side. Here comes Guillermo Alvarez. Alvarez from nowhere shoots to the middle, down to turn 3 and 4. Alvarez looking at a fight for the lead. Side by side for second, Alvarez up the track. Now Alec Daffin has 2 tenths to reel in Jacob Fife. White flag, 1 lap to go. Jacob Fife has put himself in a great position all race, and it's going to come down to the last 2 corners on the track. Not quite nose to tail, but Daffin is there if he wants to go for it. In a 3 and 4. He's not going to be close enough, and despite the late race restarts, despite the chaos, Jacob Fife is going to survive to take his first win on the 2021 season. Jacob Fife wins at Atlanta. And a great race, a great finish, and a great win for Jacob Fife, who pulls off his first win of the 2021 season. Incredible drive by him. He'll be going to victory lane tonight. 5th different winner this year in 17 races. Maybe not the level of parity that you can see in some iRacing leagues, but still a very competitive season. Fife going to add his name to the list of drivers who have won this year. The first year that the Integrity Racing League is using the B car. But he has won it. He has survived the chaos, and now he is going to get to burn it down on the front straightaway. Well done, Jacob Fife. A big win in Atlanta, locks himself into the playoffs. And a great win by Jacob Fife, able to survive the chaos of Atlanta. Comes home with a victory and burns it down on the front straightaway. Well done, Jacob Fife. And you can tell he's excited about this one, burning it down all over the front straightaway. I think this is one he's going to want to remember for a while. We're going to let him finish up his burnouts here, and then we're going to bring him up into the booth. Oh, he's still going. All right, I think that's it. No, it's not. He's still going. Hey, he deserves to celebrate this one. Gonna take a little victory lap around the Legends Oval, why not? That Pro Powder and Paint's number 36. Fought hard all season, came close to a win at Darlington, and today breaks through for win number 1 on the season, so well done to him. Let's go ahead and bring him up into the booth and talk to the race winner. Jacob, Jonathan Oates up at the TMG broadcast booth. How are you feeling after your first win of the season?
Man, it's exciting. It's still a challenge to win these races. So I'm excited. One of my favorite tracks here at Atlanta. Excited to get up there and get the win tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of Atlanta, I mean, we saw throughout the race the low grip conditions proving a challenge to a lot of these drivers. We saw a lot of close quarters racing, a lot of close calls, and a lot of close calls that went a little over the edge, but you were able to survive. What were some of the keys out there to being able to stay at the front and stay out of trouble?
A little bit of luck. Caught cautions at a good time and saved a set of tires during the midpoint of the race. So that helped a lot. But really just saving your stuff, keeping your nose clean. Anytime you hit the wall here, seemingly specifically here, and get any sort of damage, it kind of messes up your night pretty easily. So just keeping it off the wall, especially when you're running on the high side through 1 and 2. But yeah, just playing strategy right and being at the right place at the right time.
And another of the things that we saw is a lot of different lines coming into play. Some people deciding to run up top, some people more in the middle, and some people down low. Did you really find that there was one line that had a distinct advantage over the others, or was it more of a run where you're comfortable and try and be fast?
Run where you're comfortable, I think. I noticed at one point to the run, Cody, for example, I thought did really well on the bottom, especially in 1 and 2, and I just couldn't go down there. So I think him and Katie as well had something going on down there, but I really preferred up high in 1 and 2 for the most part, and then down low in 3 and 4. Thought was the best way to save tires and get the most lap time out of the race. So we went with that, and it seemed to work out pretty well.
Yeah, it definitely worked out pretty well, but definitely not so easy to survive a lot of late race restarts. Did you ever feel any pressure from the drivers that were behind you, or did you know that you were probably going to be able to hold on?
I mean, I keep joking. Katie seems to always find a way to beat me at most racetracks. Like at the last lap or right at the end of races, she'll get one spot ahead of me. And she's always a very good racer. So definitely felt the pressure from her. I thought she would be very competitive. And then just you never know what happens. You make one mistake on a restart, spinning the tires or anything like that. And then everything's up for grabs from that point, especially once somebody gets alongside of you. So just getting good restarts, not spinning the tires too much, and kind of setting pace. And once you do that, then it's a little bit less pressure. But the restarts at the end were definitely a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and despite those nerve-wracking restarts, you're able to come away with a big win here in Atlanta. Anyone you want to give a thank you or shout out to?
Thank Don for running the league. I appreciate that. The admin crew, Pro Powder and Paint for sponsoring the series, and then everybody for coming out tonight. It was a fun night, fun racing for the most part, and thank you guys for doing the broadcast.
No problem, and congratulations on your win. We're going to go ahead and send you back.
Have a good one.
You too. And that was Jacob Fife, driver the number 36, who came away with his first win on the season here tonight. Next up, second place finisher, Alec Daffin. Alec, I think this is 2 weeks in a row now that we're bringing you up into the booth after one of these races. 2 strong runs for you. What were some of the keys out there to getting a good finish tonight, because you were able to survive a lot of the chaos and came away with the top 3?
Track position was the most important. I mean, the Highline's so dominant here with the updated grip levels or whatever. I mean, obviously got to save tires, but yeah, if you can just maintain track position, then yeah, it's definitely, you're going to run well.
Yeah, and I was talking to Jacob just before this, and he also mentioned that with the new grip levels, that a lot of times it was more about trying to find a line that you were comfortable in and trying to be fast in that. But I know you talked a little bit about the Highline being faster, so would you say that Highline was definitely more dominant, or were there some advantages to running somewhere else?
I mean, if you run the low line and you do it right, you can save tires better. I mean, some like Brad, Ethan, they could do it, but I can't do it without slipping the right rear tire. I get too loose. I can't maintain the momentum, so I like to run high. But I mean, if you can do it right, low line's better. But for outright speed, yeah, the top is definitely the way to go. In the middle is kind of no man's land. So yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, this is the second week in a row that we're talking to you. 2 second-place finishes back-to-back. First at Pocono, now here at Atlanta. You're starting to bang out that consistency. Do you think that first win is just around the corner, or are you still going to focus on trying to stay consistent and banging out those top 5s?
Yeah. In a way, I kind of feel like I gave one away tonight because Ethan, Dustin, and Brad, they were all my main competition, and they all had problems, either crashed out or had damage. I mean, Fife, he was fast. Like, I mean, he deserved to win, but if it wasn't for the strategy, if I had the track position, I probably could have gone that. But, I mean, we keep clicking off the good finishes. This is like 9 top 10s in a row, I think. And we're going to New Hampshire next week, which is a good track. So if I keep having these good runs, eventually I'll break through. Just a matter of when.
And like you mentioned, a lot of strong runs in a row. This tonight marking your second place finish in a row after a second last week in Pocono. Anyone that you'd like to give a thank you shout out to?
Yeah, I think Black Designs, Stephen Black. Like him on Facebook for making me a killer paint scheme, along with a bunch of others. Did a good job. First race I ran with this, so happy to get a good finish. Obviously, everybody follow me on Twitch at 4LexBowman, 4LEXBOWM8N. I stream most of my races. And obviously, I got to thank you guys at TMG for putting on a good broadcast as always. Dawn and all the admins for officiating a good race. And yeah, I think that's it.
Well, I appreciate the shout out and congratulations on your second place finish. Good luck next week at Atlanta. No, wrong track. New Hampshire. We're going to go ahead and send you back.
I mean, if you came here again, I'll be okay, but New Hampshire's good too. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you next time, Alec.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And that was Alec Daffin, driver the number 48, able to come away with his second place finish in a row tonight at Atlanta. Normally we'd bring in your third place finisher, but Caitlin Height still does not have a microphone. Please, if you know her personally, but buy her a microphone, because I have a feeling she's going to win the championship, and the best we're going to do for an interview is a recorded text conversation. So if you know her, get her hooked up with a microphone. I would greatly appreciate it. We would then bring in fourth place finisher, Todd Thomas. He's not here either, so that is going to be this. Okay. Well, that's going to be this awkward conclusion concluding. I apologize for not being able to bring you your full 3 interviews. Unfortunately, there is no one in the Discord who I don't think anyone in the Discord actually finished the race. So I will see you all in 1 week's time from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway when the Integrity Racing League returns to racing. Alec Daffin, watch for him. He said it's a good track for him, so maybe that'll be the site of his first win. But New Hampshire, always a fun track to drive on, always a fun track to watch with that kind of intermediate short track blend. Playing into some really, really fun racing, so I hope you'll decide to tune in same time, same place next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on the TMG Racing Network for the Integrity Racing League from New Hampshire. But other than that, that is going to do it for tonight's broadcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will see you all